It's Kyle with another episode of Unlocking Your Inner Strength, episode 367. Got a lot of good stuff we're working on to bring to you guys. There'll be a new artwork thumbnail for the podcast coming out soon. More like the Panda Man, me as a superhero, which is going to be pretty cool. So stay tuned for that. Now, we had a great trip to Jamaica. We got back on Tuesday, Devin and I. Really, well timed. Well timed. So we went to Jamaica, got there on a Wednesday. So that day was pretty much over by the time we got to the resort. It might have been like 4:30 or whatnot. Now, what I was really focused on this year as far as career-wise was taking my personal brand worldwide, because I know there's so many people that I can help out there. You know, not just being confined to our gyms, right? We help a lot of clients there, but that's just a local radius. So what my coach, Wes Watson, has me really doing is we're focusing on Instagram, really trying to get traction there. So stay with me here, because I'm going to explain to you how theater of the mind works using the Jamaican trip. So what is theater of the mind, first off? Theater of the mind is visualization, focused visualization, practiced visualization. Most of you visualize, but you don't do it intentionally. You just picture stuff. Those of you that do it intentionally and consistently, I can assure you that you probably have great results in your life. Things seem to happen for you. You're able to do whatever you put your mind to. So this is very important. So, keeping that in mind, okay, Matt Fury coached me for a number of years, and Matt is a master at teaching theater of the mind and visualization. Back in high school, I rented a book from the library, from the local library, by Dr. Dennis Watley about visualization. When I was playing basketball, I wanted to be the best basketball player I could be. So everything I did was with the scope of getting better at basketball. I was looking for any edge I could. Practicing physically, I'd be shooting 500 jump shots a day, going to all different types of camps and all that. But in this book, Dr. Waitley talked about they studied the Italian, what's up, Ryan? They studied the Italian ski team, okay? Olympic ski team, the slalom team. And they would go down to slaloms. They had them hooked up to electrodes, and they would see how the brain would fire. And then they taught them how to visualize. And then they had them, that would be great, Ryan, let me know, dude. Then they had them visualize after they taught them how to do it, and they had them hooked up to the brain, the same electrodes. And what they realized was that the brain reacted the same way, whether they were physically going down the slaloms or if they were just imagining it. Huge implications with this. So I started visualizing actually back when I was in high school. So at this point, I have over 20 years of focused practice with this type of stuff. So I'm well qualified to teach it and practice it. So that is theater of the mind. Now, when we do theater of the mind, you have to go through a certain process, but when you're visualizing, it's got to be charged with emotion. If there's no emotion behind it, it does not get wired into your nervous system. So I'm going to give you a real life example of how this works. So going back to how I started this episode. We got to Jamaica. This year, my focus has really been on, me and Devin decided, taking my brand national and worldwide to impact 1 million people. I have a vision of creating 1 million person panda militia. People that are fasting, getting their mind right, training every day. So there's a very clear mission. Now, a big tool with that is our Instagram channel. That's where we're really focusing a lot of our efforts. So got down to Jamaica, I had like 4,900 subscribers on the channel. The next night on Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday night, it cracked 5,000. That was a big milestone, right? That was cool. So I'm texting my brothers. They're like, man, maybe by next year, it'll be double that, or by the fall, right? It would kind of keep gaining traction. Well, what happens is the next day, within like 2 days, it cracked 10,000. And it just kept climbing. By the end of the trip, it was at like 24,000 subscribers. So this just accelerated. But how did that happen? Well, a couple things happened. First of all, I'm open to just carrying out God's mission for me now. Right? I'm not trying to do things on my own anymore. I ask God for guidance every day and just using me for His will and for what my purpose here on this earth is. And just take me and use me, put my armor on against the enemies, and let's go. So I truly believe that. So there's the belief aspect. Now, I had a vision probably about 4 years ago that I was going to make it to 41 years old and then I would die. And I told Devin this. Obviously, she doesn't like when I talk like that. I'm 41 years old right now, guys. But coming into this year, it became clear to me, or when I turned 41, that it was not, I didn't have that intuition because it was a physical death. The old me was going to die. The old Kyle was going to die. And I was going to step into the next chapter of my life to have an even bigger impact on people. I truly believe that. So before I get to the massage, where I could literally feel the vibration and the frequencies of everything flying towards me. It was crazy. I'm going to get to that in a second. Another part of the story is there was a witch doctor. He would go up and down the beach trying to sell you stuff, right? And I bought some cigars from him on the first full day there. You know, some Cuban cigars. And he says, hey, you want some mushrooms? I'm like, no, man, I just did a big trip a couple weeks ago. I'm good. You know, I had my mind dialed in. He goes, oh, come on. I said, no, I'm good, man. Anyhow, it gives me a cap. So it'd be like a microdose, right? For those of you that aren't familiar with this. So that's on a Thursday. Against my better judgment, just because my gut was telling me not to do it, I did it. You know, around 2 o'clock, chewing it. I'm like, something don't feel right. I should probably spit this out. But I didn't. And I got violently sick for like 4 hours, from like 5 till, actually, let's say call it 3 hours. I felt off for a while, but let's call it 3 hours, 5 to 8. All right. And I get violently sick. So I wound up fasting, right? I couldn't eat that night. And I told Devin what I did, and she was totally understanding. And I didn't have any like a microdose quite often with mushrooms. I didn't feel any of that stuff. It was just like a purging. So it was a trip in a different way, like a cleansing, right? It further to tie into the fact, as I was telling you guys, that I believe the old me is dying, right? Dying. Purge. Get rid of this negative or this old belief limiting systems that you might have had, Kyle. Get rid of it. So the next day after that, we scheduled some massages. Devin was getting a facial, I was getting a massage. We're laying right next to each other. And I'm face down on the table. And the massage therapist doing a great job. But as she's massaging me, I'm visualizing. The success of the Panda Man brand and just having a worldwide impact. And I could feel it in my bones to the point where I actually got emotional. I could feel it. It was unbelievable. So I'm infusing this visualization with positive emotion, and with their hands on me, it's getting wired deeper into my nervous system. So we could combine visualization with physical movement. We got to wire this stuff into the nervous system. And it just felt so real. It's already here, what I'm trying to achieve. I know it's already here. It might not all be visible yet, but it's already here. And I believe that. And from that point forward, that the Instagram channel just kept exploding. It doesn't make sense logically. These are all organic followers. And it's still just climbing. It's like 45,000 people now. But it was the belief in me picturing this over and over in a self-talk every morning, talking about this to myself. Visualizing. I got my vision board right there. And then it was just boom. So if you give up too soon with visualization, it won't work. If you don't infuse visualization with energy and enthusiasm, it won't work. It can't work. It can only work when it's backed by emotionally charged frequencies, which you can get yourself into that state at any moment through music, through physical movement. In Theater of Mind, what we do is I'll take people through, and I won't do an actual session here for you guys, but you would picture yourself walking down the street, picture what you're wearing. You see a movie theater with your name on it. You go up, you buy a ticket to the movie of your life, go in, give it to the ticket collector. They rip it up, tell you it's second theater on the right. You go in, pick a seat. You're the only one in there. When you sit down to screen and practice this stuff, guys, the screen would come to life. And on the screen, there's an old memory from your life. Something that has literally actually happened. But one of the greatest memories of your life. And I want you to replay that in the first person over and over up on the screen. Relive it. Get those emotions going. Feel what you felt then. And after a couple minutes, we pause it. Screen goes blank. And now on the screen, we bring up the future thought. Something you're trying to create in your life. We have to infuse that other emotion into the future-based thought and feel it as if it's already here. Feel it as if it is already. That is such a key element. Now, visualization, guys, is going to be awkward the first time you do it. The way I explain it, your thoughts are habits. You have certain neural patterns in your brain which make you think a certain way. So if this is a new way of thinking for you, picture a sandhill and you're pouring a cup of water from the same angle over and over. The grooves are going to just get deeper and deeper and deeper. Now, but they're going to be the same grooves. If I change the angle of the water, the new thought pattern, the new habit, it's going to form new grooves. They're not going to be as deep at first. They're not going to be as natural. They're going to feel awkward. It's going to be awkward. Keep it there long enough, and those patterns are going to get deeper and deeper. As it is with visualization. So practice theater of the mind. You're having all these thoughts every day anyway. Might as well direct a couple minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, towards theater of the mind and creating the life that you want. It works. I'm telling you it works. You're going to constantly have to go back to it. I have books, like I have 2 books, Working with the Law, a book by Amanda Francis, where I'm constantly studying this stuff because the brain is hardwired for the negative. It's very easy to get knocked off track, guys. Don't allow that to happen. So if you have any questions on theater of the mind, don't hesitate to shoot me a DM. Any of the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. Thank you guys for the support. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will be coming out. If there's anything that you guys want to see me talk about, just hit me up. I'm happy to create content that you guys want to see. Thank you for the support. If you're listening to this, subscribe to my podcast, Unlocking Your Inner Strength on iTunes. And once you start listening, if you like it, please leave it a positive review. You guys are awesome. Have a great day.